Well, we're live backstage at the Tivoli with Beau and Phil from Saosin. Lads, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Look, we do have a lot to talk about. There's a new single and there's shows to chat about, but we do start the show the same way every week, and that is just to get an understanding of what you've been listening to lately. Pull out your phones if you need to.
No, I mean, I can tell you exactly what I've been listening to, and it's been mixed revision 1 through 50 and starting over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Just in our own zone, musical zone. So there hasn't been too much time for other stuff, but
Okay.
trying to think of something. I don't know, like the latest Architects record just kind of popped up, and I kind of dove in and just can appreciate that it's a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a banger album.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Yeah, I rip Electric Callboy pretty much every morning on my kids' way to
Yeah.
drop them off at school. Get them pumped up.
It's a good way to start the day.
We got the moves. Always really gets the day going. You know?
If they're going in to learn maths and they're like fucking just ready to go, just
Yeah.
throwing German techno in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
stoked. Yeah. I actually, I had like a group. So my daughter's like 12 and 13, and I had a group of girls in the car with me.
Yeah.
And I started playing the song Rat-a-tat, Rat-a-tat, you know? And then I get a call from like one of my friends, and they're just like, send me a screenshot of the Rat-a-tat, and they're like, thanks a lot, dude. And I'm like, this song rips.
That's when you go back and say, you're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
The parents' group chat is firing.
Yeah. Your children have officially been cultured.
Yeah.
Right? You're welcome.
Danke.
Yeah.
Well, as Sam alluded to, you guys are here for the 20-year celebration of the self-titled and basically the whole journey of the band. I suppose having the album be 20 years old and you guys see fans bringing like their kids, they've been cultured too. They're bringing their kids. What is that like to sort of be, to see how that progression has gone over the journey of Saosin, over the whole time?
Man, I think any band that's been around can probably appreciate the same thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's so cool and even seeing the fans growing right? Because so many people have come up. It's like, man, the first time I saw you, I was still in grade school or whatever. And then the second time I saw you, I wanted to buy a shirt, but I was in college and I had no money. And now I'm grown up and now I have money and I brought all 4 of my friends and we're all at VIP, So it's like, there's so many cool, it's just been so cool to like grow with the fans, you know what I mean? And we've all kind of like taken these ups and downs together. And especially some of the songs, like You're Not Alone, who that's a song that we've heard so many stories of. That song helping people through tough times,
Yeah.
So it's just it's so cool to be able to kind of talk to some of those people and hear the stories and how it helped them. It's pretty crazy. And then when you see them bringing their kids, and it's like it's just so cool to be able to share that with same thing as like when you share music with your best friend, you know what I mean? And it's like that becomes your thing.
Yeah.
And for them to be able to have that connection with their kids or their nephews or whoever else is you're bringing to a show, it's just so cool. Anytime you can show music to someone and they respond well to it, you're like, yeah, that's sick, right?
Someone else's school group chat is like popping off.
Yeah,
The Saosin music. Yeah.
And some dad's going, thanks.
Yeah.
Probably the Electric Callboy kids are like, they're texting each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, on the tour you've played New Zealand so far, and it's a lot of the band's biggest songs, but there is a little one I want to talk about, and that's Starting Over Again. It's the first taste of new music we've seen from you guys in years. It's been a long time. So, it's a new chapter for the band. You've got Cove back on board. How's, the fresh start in a way been for you guys, and how are you, seeing the reception of the song?
I mean, yeah, there's a few kind of things about it, releasing the song that is special. Cove being back, the band's first song in 10 years, my first kind of musical introduction to the band. So it's like we're all kind of just feeling this like collective, just good energy about it.
Yep.
And kind of this new Saosin 4.0 chapter of the band. And just, as we kind of close the door on the kind of starting the 20th anniversary touring right now, but by the end of the year, close that door, and then it's full steam ahead with the new album.
It is a question we have in here, but you said you're listening to Mix 1.0 and Mix _1.2.
Oh yeah, Final Master maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Final
All
Master
caps
V2.
Final Master. Every version of a final song that takes 3 more months to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on that, clearly you guys are in the studio. There is new music coming. What can you tell us about it?
Ooh, I was actually just watching an interview that we had done maybe a couple months ago, and one of the things that because he was wondering, like, what does the new music sound like, and I was like, well, the people like, to us, it just sounds like us. It sounds natural, but the people that we played it for have been saying that it almost sounds like you guys have. It's like a direct continuation of self-titled,
Okay.
Which is crazy because now that's all exactly the feedback we've been getting from starting over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I feel like we're on track to release some music that I think people are gonna latch onto, But I think at the end of the day, we're very proud of it. So, and I think that's the biggest thing.
100%.
Yeah, and the validation from close friends or just peers in the industry, the fans, it's like, okay, this introductory track is on the right track for us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, starting over again as a title, it kind of has that implication. You said Saosin
Meta.
4.0.
Yeah, so meta.
Exactly. Like, should fans be taking that, like, musically or thematically as a sign of what's to come? With the new material, like. You mentioned it's a continuation of the self-titled, but is it, like, for you guys, I suppose emotionally, is it starting over again?
Ooh, well, I mean, I guess you could say it's like a new start with Cove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I think that, I mean, that's been so great to see the way that the fans have really just, it's like, and you see a lot of the people that's like, as soon as Cove's voice comes back into the song, you're just like, yes, back, right? And he's just firing off. So he sounds so good. And I mean, like, the whole process, I mean, growing up and experiencing everything that we've had, the ups and the downs, and then getting Phil, just like really reinvigorating the whole band, and taking all of his experience with, his career and kind of trying to apply some of that professionalism to our band now. I think it's really
Trying to apply.
yeah, we're all still a bunch of goofballs, but we're trying, and I think we're gonna give it a real serious run, and it just feels really good, man. So
Yeah. But the song meaning has nothing to do with the band. Overall, it relates to something else, relationship stuff. But when it was like, well, this is kind of describing the band at the same time, why not go with it? And it works.
I actually did have a question for you, Phil. So, if I'm correct, it's been 10 years since you've played with Saosin now.
Yeah, just crossed the 10-year mark,
And starting over again is your first... it's your first chance to actually release music with the band, which it's crazy to sort of think about. But, I mean,
I know.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, we know. But
I mean, don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know, but it's a bit crazy. Look, you've played such a big hand in your career to date, influencing metalcore. Like, I grew up watching your guitar tutorials on Guitar World and things like that. Like, how was it for you writing away from that metalcore style that you've been involved with so much? Was it a bit of a change of pace?
Well, I think what kind of drew me to the band is Cove and I went to high school, so we've that's kind of how the connection started. And then I didn't even know that he could sing in high school. He wasn't a singer. So when I start touring at 18, and then I hear Cove's on the road, and I was like, doing what? And he's like, oh, singing for this band, and I was like, and I had no idea who Saosin was. So then I checked it out, and I was like, first off, Cove sounds amazing. I can't believe he can do this. But then I was like, man, there's some crossover interests of mine, and Beau obviously having sort of a metal sort of influence as well. There was this connection, that I could feel with it. So kind of with my start musically with them, it's like, okay, I know certain things that I can do and can't do with this. I can't write 220 BPM. I can't,
Blast beats.
There's no blast beats, no one's saying double bass, but if maybe it's kind of the sweet spot kind of with Saosin with things. So once kind of figuring that out, and then starting over again, having the riffs, it's kind of like we knew we got to be riff forward on this song. So kind of having that and finding the right kind of tempo and drum grooves, it all was like this fits in the world of Saosin.
But from the other direction though, you're back in the studio, you're with Phil now, who's contributing to new music after 10 years. You finally let him in the fold. what is that? Has that changed how the band at large is recording now versus how things were previously?
Well, I'm not sure if the process is different. Maybe it's a little more efficient now.
Yep.
Even just with technology, I mean, it's so much easier to be able to shoot things out, and as well as my production career has like really evolved. So being able to apply that to the band, and then having someone like Phil and even the rest of the guys just all supportive of how to push things forward, and I think there's a real desire to kind of like push the envelope of what the band can do, and I mean, I remember specifically on a couple of these things. I mean, like we challenge each other a lot, right? And I remember there was definitely some riffs in, I'm not sure if it was Starting Over Again or one of the other songs, but I remember I was playing it and I'm like, this is impossible. And he's just like, he's looking at me like, give me the guitar.
You know what I mean? Yeah. 3 minutes to get this, or hand it over.
Yeah. So it's definitely expedited things, and now, just it's when you have a collective group that's all pushing each other to do something, it makes things so much easier.
And I think like with us collaborating as songwriters and guitar players, it's like he can kind of tell me, he's like, I'm thinking something up here, and he's like, do this up here, and I'll go up there, and he's like, yeah, you're onto it. Like he's kind of trying to get the riff idea out, and I'm like able to execute that at times. And with the riffs that we've kind of written on the spot, I'm like, some of my favorite riffs that we have so far.
Wow.
Just piecing like, oh, we need a riff here, and it's like, 20 minutes later we got it, and it's recorded. So I think it's a very cool collaboration that we have together.
Yeah, because Starting Over Again it sort of has that perfect sonic blend of, I guess, your two careers to date. So the album, is there going to be a little bit more riffage in the album that we maybe haven't seen?
It's so much riffage. So one of the things that I think is the funniest thing is there's parts where you'll hear it and you'll be like, oh my god, that is absolutely a Phil riff.
Yeah.
But I wrote it.
But he wrote it.
And then there's going to be parts where I can already see it like in the comments, like, oh my gosh, that part is so Beau Burchell, and it's like, Phil wrote that. You know what I mean? So or Chris wrote it. Or whatever. And it's like all it's just, we're just pulling from everything now. And I think we're just kind of at that point where, I mean, especially us, we're just so in sync, you know what I mean? And it's just like, what about this? And it's like, yes, that's what I was thinking. Yes, but what do we do this? And then it's like, oh shit, now I gotta do this, And we're just both just like leveling each other up, It's like we're, I'm reminded of that Don Broco song, but it's like the hype man, you know what I mean? It's like we're each other's hype man, so it's pretty sick.
They're gonna be stoked with that.
And look, it sounds like there's a good Saosin drinking game of like who wrote the riff coming up. Get the fans to like have a guess.
There's
Absolutely
no way anyone would get it right.
Yeah.
Laying down the challenge to the commenters.
Yeah.
Be sure to catch Starting Over Again from Saosin. Listen to it plenty of times because by the sounds of it, there's plenty more coming. And if you're in Sydney, Adelaide, and Perth, catch the rest of the 20th anniversary tour. If you're in the UK, you're going to have to wait until May to catch them live. But guys, thanks so much for coming on the show and having a chat to us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Nice, guys. Thanks.